Today we are going to study our next experiment, and it is synthesis of tris ethylene diamine nickel 2 salt from the nickel 2 salts, ethylene diamine and sodium thiosulfate. So see, synthesis means here we are going to prepare this coordination complex whose name is tris ethylene diamine nickel 2 sulfate. Now it is prepared by using three substances. First one is the nickel 2 salt, then ethylene diamine and sodium thiosulfate. And then later on, after the preparation, we are going to comment on the color of the complex that we will obtain at the end and the magnetic properties of the complex. Now we will move ahead towards the next point. Now we have to discuss the theory related to this synthesis of the coordination complex. So we know that coordination complexes are formed by combination of the metal ion, which is placed centrally, and then it is surrounded or it is bonded with the ligand molecules with a coordination bond, with a coordinate bond. Now in this case, in this complex, this nickel is the central metal ion and it forms the coordinate bonds with the ethylene diamine molecules. Now we will discuss this ethylene diamine. Now here it acts as a ligand. So ethylene diamine is basically a bidentate ligand. So why it is bidentate? Because it contains two nitrogen atoms, and we know that nitrogen atoms carries a lone pair of electrons. So both of these, because of presence of these two nitrogen atoms, ethylene diamine can form two coordinate bonds with the nickel ion, and therefore ethylene diamine is called as a bidentate ligand because it has two donor nitrogen atoms. Now we also know this thing that the polydentate ligands means the ligands that contains more than one donor atoms forms the coordination complexes having complicated structures or having ring structures, and those ring structured complexes are called as chelates. So here also, as ethylene diamine carries two nitrogen donor atoms, therefore it also forms a chelate with the nickel atom, nickel ion, nickel 2 plus ion we will say here. Now ethylene diamine is a quite lengthy name and it is difficult to write in the formula, chemical molecular formula of the complex. So it is abbreviated as EN. See, it is abbreviated as EN. So while writing the molecular formula of any coordination complex containing ethylene diamine as a ligand, you have to write down EN as ethylene diamine. See, it is written over here. Now we will move towards the next property. Now we will discuss about the nickel. Nickel 2 plus ion has the coordination number of 6. Why? Because it undergoes sp3d2 hybridization, and because of this total 6 empty orbitals, 6 empty sp3d2 hybrid orbitals are available to occupy the electron pairs from the ligands. So the coordination number of nickel 2 is 6. So because of this reason, it forms 6 coordinate bonds. And now ethylene diamine form 2 bonds because it has 2 donor atoms. So one nickel combines with 3 ethylene diamine molecules. So thus total 3 ethylene diamine molecules act as a ligand, and each of them forms 2 bonds with the central metal ion nickel 2 plus. Now, the next property related to this compound is, see, if you observe the structure of the complex, you will find that the geometry is octahedral. So, you will say that here the geometry of the complex is octahedral. Now, at the end, you will get the answer. You will find that the color of this compound is violet and it is paramagnetic in nature. It is paramagnetic in nature. So why it is paramagnetic? Because it contains two unpaired electrons. See, one thing is there. Nickel is the central metal ion, and nickel 2 plus is the central metal ion, and it has D8 configuration. So that's a electronic, its electronic configuration has D8 configuration. So uh, the D8 configuration indicates the presence of two unpaired electrons in that metal ion, and therefore the metal ion, and finally the complex becomes paramagnetic in nature. So thus we have discussed the theory related to the preparation or synthesis of the coordination compound. Now next part is of the procedure. Here procedure is written. So very simple procedure you have to follow. First of all, you are going to weigh 1.1 grams of nickel nitrate compound. So see, it is nickel nitrate hexahydrate. So first of all, weigh 1.1 grams of this compound, and then dissolve this nickel nitrate substance or powder into the 5 ml of the water with constant stirring into the test tube. Now, in another test tube, take 1.150 grams of sodium thiosulfate and dissolve this compound into 10 ml of water. Now, heat this solution, means here you have to heat the sodium thiosulfate solution up to boiling. So you have to make it hot. After that, now in the third step, to the nickel solution taken in first test tube, you have to add 1.5 ml of ethylene diamine liquid. Then, while adding ethylene diamine, the constant stirring is required. Again, heat this solution till boiling. Now, see both the solutions, means the sodium thiosulfate in test tube, in second test tube, and here the nickel salt and ethylene diamine in first test tube. So both the solutions are now hot solutions. Now, in the next step, to the nickel solution, nickel 2 plus solution containing ethylene diamine, add sodium thiosulfate solution. So to the first test tube containing nickel and ethylene diamine, now you are going to add the sodium thiosulfate from the second test tube with constant stirring. Now, after that, again you have to heat the solution for about 3 to 5 minutes. During this heating, the reaction occurs between nickel and ethylene diamine and thiosulfate, and you will get the complex tris ethylene diamine nickel 2 sulfate. Next, in the next step, after completion of the reaction, you have to cool the solution up to the room temperature, and then add cold water, little amount of cold water to it, and then filter the precipitate. Now while filtration, you have to use the Buckner funnel. So Buckner funnel is attached to the vacuum pump so that the trace of water left into the precipitate will get removed using the vacuum, and then dry this precipitate at 100 degrees centigrade for about 30 minutes, and so that whatever water vapors are attached or adsorbed on the surface of precipitate, it will also get removed due to this heating at 100 degrees centigrade. And then the dry precipitate is weighed and its weight is recorded, and that weight is called as yield of the product. So here the expected yield should be more than 70%. So in this experiment, 70% is the expected yield. So it should be greater than 70%. Our yield should be greater than 70%. Now we will see how the experiment is conducted actually. So for that one, I will play a video for you. Okay, now see this nickel chloride he has taken for preparation of the solution of nickel salt. Here we have to take nickel nitrate instead of nickel chloride, and you are going to, now see it is kept on the stirrer. So this is the bottle of ethylene diamine. So the solution is first stirred very well to dissolve all the salt or all the crystals. After dissolution, to this solution we have to add ethylene diamine. So we will see where it is added. Okay, jump here. Okay, now see, this is the bottle for ethylene diamine. So he is adding that using a pipette, graduated pipette attached to the bulb, air bulb. So see, as soon as he add ethylene diamine, the color of solution changes to violet. So see, now you got violet colored solution here. But till precipitate is not forming the solution, it will form after addition of sodium thiosulfate. See, it is purple colored solution. Precipitate is not there. Now, again he is stirring for the reaction, completion of the reaction. Now sodium thiosulfate is added. So now you got the precipitate. You can see clear purple colored particles of the precipitate in the beaker. So till now it should be stirred well for completion of the reaction. Now after that, when the reaction is completed, the solution is filtered. So for filtration, see now he is using the funnel, Buchner funnel, porcelain funnel. Okay, now solution has been filtered. So see purple colored filtrate passes through the filter paper. Now he is adding the washings. Washings means whatever little amount of precipitate attached to the sides of the beaker, those should also added into on the filter paper. So for that one it needs washing. So the precipitate is washed using cold water. So see now he has added the washings here, and now you can observe the beaker. See this beaker. It is now washed completely. 2 or 3 times you have to conduct the washing. And after washing, here see side arm is there, so it is used to attach this flask to the vacuum pump or suction pump. And see at the end you will get such purple colored or violet colored precipitate on the filter paper. So you have to dry this precipitate in oven at 100 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes, and then later on it should be weighed to get the weight of the product formed. So thus this is the demo how to conduct the synthesis of this product. So this was the procedure part. I think you should understood the procedure, how to conduct the experiment. Now the calculations we have to conduct here. Now see here, this calculation is for calculating the percentage of the practical yield of the coordination complex. So for that one, we are going to use two masses. First is the weight of the nickel 2 salt that we have taken initially, and it was denoted by W grams, and it is 1.1 grams. We have weighed 1.1 grams of the nickel nitrate compound, and then it is dissolved into the water. So W is 1.1. Then the next one is weight of the product obtained. So the weight of the violet color product obtained at the end, that we have to measure, and it is denoted by W 1 grams. Now these two weights are used for calculating the percent practical yield. Now we will go towards the calculation part. Now see, if you will observe the reaction, you will find that 1 mole of nickel nitrate hexahydrate is equivalent to the 1 mole of the tris-ethylene diamine nickel 2 sulfate. So 1 mole of nickel salt corresponds to 1 mole of the complex. Now the mass of 1 mole of nickel is equal to the mass of 1 mole of the coordination complex. So mass of nickel nitrate is 290.79 grams, whereas mass of the complex is 350.82 grams. So 1 mole of salt corresponds to 1 mole of complex, and therefore their masses are equivalent. So 1 mole's mass, 1 mole nickel salt's mass is 290 grams, and 1 mole's complex mass is 350 grams. Now using this relation, we are going to derive the next calculation, next formula we will say here. So now adds 290.70 grams of the nickel salt corresponds to or gives 350 grams of the complex. So 1.1, we have not taken 290 grams, we have taken 1.1 gram of the nickel salt. So if that much means 290 grams of nickel salt, if it gives 350 grams of the complex, then 1.1 gram will give W2 grams of the complex. And now we have to find out the W2. So this W2 can be calculated by using cross multiplication method. So we will see the formula here. So W2 is equal to 1.1 multiplied by its cross, means 350.82, divided by the opposite side, 290.79 grams. So here you have to calculate the W2. So finally you will calculate this W2. Then the next part of the calculation. Now we got the W2 grams of the salt. So see, 1.1 gram, if we have taken extra pure nickel salt, then it will give 1.1 grams of that pure nickel nitrate salt will give you the W2 grams. So it is expected practical mass. Okay, it is expected that W2 grams of the complex should be obtained at the end. So this W2 here we are going to consider as 100% because it is expected weight. Okay, so W2 grams is equal to 100%, but every time, so see in this one we are losing some mass in the form of the washings. Okay, some weight of the complex get dissolved into the water, and it passes through the filter paper along with the washings. So it is the loss in the analysis. So we will not get exactly W grams during the analysis. We will get quite smaller or lower weight than W2. So because of this, so here W2 corresponds to 100%, but we got here W1 grams. So as W2 is 100%, then W1 is equal to W3%. Okay, so again we have to find out this W3 by taking the cross multiplication. So therefore W3 is equal to W1 multiplied by 100 divided by W2. So now we have W1. Here we will take, or whatever amount I will display afterwards, it is taken as W1. So you have to put it instead of W1 during the calculations. And then W2, you have to calculate this answer here and then substitute the value here instead of W2. And then finally find out the W3. So that is your percent practical yield of the complex. Okay, so now see, if I will conduct the practical, then the W1 grams will be 0.96 grams. Now what you have to do, take this W1 grams, take this mass of W, first calculate the W2, and then by substituting this W1 in this formula for W3, calculate the W3%. Okay, so this is the calculation part, and you are going to do this part in your journals. Now we will move towards the last part, and that is the result. Now in result we have to write 3 points. First point is color of the product, so I think you know the color of the product. Then next one is the weight of the product obtained, that is also given in the observation table. And then percent practical yield, so this thing also you are going to calculate at the end, and write down these three answers in front of these 3 points in the result table to complete your experiment. So this is about the experiment number 6. So for today I am going to stop here. Complete this practical in your journal.